sparkle to finish off your sparkly look. Hi everybody, so today I've got the brand new release, the holiday release from Dior. So we've got Celestial Purple and Celestial Glow, the face palette, the eyeshadow palette and the lip maximizer. So I'm going to try all of these on for you today. 2 looks with this and see if I can use this for blush and highlight. And also I'll do some comparisons for you so you can see these up against previous releases that are slightly similar. And if you're new here, hi, my name's Hannah, I'm 47, I'm not a professional, I'm just somebody who really loves makeup and beauty. And here on my channel, I like to show you my favourite products, review the latest products and give you any beauty news you may enjoy. If you think you'd like this, please do like and subscribe. And if you already liked and subscribed, thank you so very much for returning. I appreciate every single one of you very, very much. And my skin tone, if it's useful, I've got fair to light skin with neutral undertones, combination with mostly dry but a slightly oily T-zone. Anyway, let's get on with this video. So firstly, if you know, I've just been on holiday to Croatia and I actually travelled home yesterday. I was up from 3 AM travelling home all day. I had no intention of filming this morning, so I just want to tell you in case I make a load of mistakes, because I am shattered and not very with it, and I can't, even with makeup, hide the bags under my eyes, which I don't tend to get. So I'm not looking my best, I'm not feeling my best, and I'm not going to be the sharpest ever today. Apologies in advance, but the Dior release came when I was away, so I ordered it straight away. It actually arrived yesterday just after I got home, so I quickly did the swatch videos, which have already gone out on Instagram, TikTok and here on my shorts reels. I'll show them for you again today in this video, but I haven't tried anything on yet, so wish me luck. Let's hope I can get through this without making a complete hash of it. So we'll start with the Backstage eyeshadow palette. So here it is. Before I open it up, I will play the swatch video I made yesterday. So here that video is. Here is 004 Celestial Purple. This one is £45. And if you know, when you get the quads or the quints from Dior, which will be coming I think in the holidays, we've got that coming, the more expensive ones, you actually pay usually more than that for that. So these are actually really good value from Dior because you're getting all 9. Very similar sort of formulas as well. Always very easy to work with. There's no mirror, so it's just this clear stand-up packaging, which is fairly standard for the Backstage releases. So I do have 2 to compare it with. I'll just see what they're called. One of them is the Smoky Essentials 002. So here it is up against the Smoke Essentials 002. There's not much in common here at all, is there? Apart from possibly the first row, the bottom row. Very, very different. Here is the Smoky Essentials on the back of my hand. I can't hardly get those first 3 to even turn up on my hand, I'm afraid. But here it is compared with the Celestial Purple. So they are very, very different for sure. And those first 3 shades are showing up less on the old one compared with this new one. So I don't know. I prefer the formulas already, even though I don't think there's been any changes, but I think that there's a bit more pigment with this new one looking at this. And the other one I'm comparing it with is 011 Silver Essentials here on the right. These probably have slightly more similarities, but still quite different because there's definitely more warm tones here in this new one, isn't there? This one is very, very cool. I'll just do a quick swatch for you. So here is the 011 Silver Essentials and here is the new Celestial Purple. So there are similarities, but you can definitely pick up on more warmth here in some of these shades, maybe this pink and this one here. So if you're looking for a very cool tone and you don't want any warmth and you've already got this one, then you probably won't want this new one. But if you'd like a combination of all of them, this is what the Celestial Purple is going to give you. Plus I think it's just a bit more, just a bit brighter, isn't it? I think this is very sort of spring and Christmas friendly, and I think it's Christmas friendly because the colour story on this for me screams Sugar Plum Fairy. But it also has a very neutral everyday look, so I think it's a very versatile palette. And it says that these are made in France, by the way. So I'm going to start with my Refa number 1, and I'm going to go for the more sort of simple everyday look on this side. So I'm going into this shade. This is described as a coral and a satin finish. Now looking at it, I don't really see coral because it looks, well, a very slight tint of coral in a beige is the way I would probably describe this. You can't really see it on my eyes much. I'm just using this as a sort of transition. It's already very shimmery. It's a satin. Satins can be quite shimmery. Shimmery, glowy. Not really showing up much, is it? Now anyone who's used the Dior formulas, you'll know that they're never very pigmented. They're very user-friendly. It's very hard to go wrong. But if you are looking for a lot of pigment and that sort of instant pop of colour, you'll never get it with these. But what you will get is a very buildable palette, something that you can just add colour upon colour without really worrying. So for instance, if you go wrong, if you think you're going to go wrong, you can fix it so quickly because they just blend over each other. Very buildable, very, very user-friendly. And also if you want to try out every colour in this, you'll probably get away with it. So that's all I'm going to put there. That hasn't really done an awful lot, but it's given me a bit of a shiny transition. Not sure how I feel about using a shiny one, but anyway, I just wanted to start with the lightest one. And now I think I will go in with this one. Switch to my Refa 15 Mini, and I'm going to take this one. So this is described as a satin bronze. So now I'm just going to start building this up in the outer V and bringing it over here a little bit. So stopping sort of 1/3 above, and you can see that's instantly bringing me a bit more colour, but quite a lot of shine. So these will sort of hide, they won't hide lines in the lid, so keep that in mind. You need mattes for this area really to do that. I do have a base at the moment, concealer and powder, which slightly helps, but you can definitely see my lines being emphasised a bit there. I've just taken the Refa number 3 and I'm taking this same bronze satin underneath. I'm going to run it across the whole of the underneath actually, and then just bring it up there to meet the outer V. Just back in with a little bit of this on the Refa number 1 brush and just go around the edges, soften it out. And just basically transition the shade so it's a bit lighter on the outer edge. I really like that bronze shade actually, I really love it. Perfect everyday shade. I think it would make a very good one and done shade as well, that bronze. So this palette is really good from a versatile perspective because you can get this sort of easy neutral look. So I think I will take the lilac shimmer on my finger and just run this now across the lid. That's a lovely shade, isn't it? And using the Refa 23 brush, I think I'll go, let me decide, I think I'll go into the blue actually, and I'm going to try and use it as a liner. So this is described as a velvet, I think it means velvet matte. This is a deep blue, so I'm now going to use this to line underneath. So even though it's a deep blue, and probably the darkest shade along with that, what's it called, the satin plum, those are the two deepest. Even though I've got quite a lot on the brush, it's not overwhelmingly dark, but probably just about right for a sort of soft liner anyway, which for this sort of everyday neutral look is exactly what I'd be looking for. Just bring it up here for a tiny bit of a wing, and then I'm going to line across here a bit as well. I don't want to take too much because I don't want it to become a smoky eye, but I do want to deepen up a little bit here because these are very soft shades. I think I just need a little bit of depth from that deeper shade. That's all I want from this. Well, that was super easy. I think that this is an extremely user-friendly, as always, with Dior, extremely user-friendly palette for a very quick, easy everyday look. And that's basically what this has given me, using those neutral shades and just a little bit of lilac. But what you could do is take the bronze all over, use that lighter shade as a transition and just go in with the liner, and that will give you your easy everyday look without even introducing the lilac. So here is how this looks. I'm not going to put mascara on or finish the look completely, because at the end I will try one of the highlights from the new face palette as a pop of brightness over the top. There is actually a topper shade in this. This is very much a topper shade. I think it wouldn't be any good as a standalone, but I'm going to try that one on this side. So I thought it would be good to try out the face palettes for a bit of versatility there. But what I will do next is just go into this satin pearl, and I'm going to put this in the inner corner for a pop of brightness. This is actually quite a powerful shimmer, this, looking at the way it's swatched. Perfect for a real pop of brightness here in the inner corner, and you can see it's giving quite a big pop of brightness there. Well, that really is extremely bright, which I love. I love that, but keep that in mind if you don't love anything to be too shiny and bright. This is a very, very shiny and bright shade. It really is, isn't it? I really love that look actually. It's just so easy to put together, and it just looks, I love it. I really like this. But then I'm a massive Dior fan, and I do love it when it's easy to put together like this. I'm going to use exactly the same brushes, so I'm just cleaning off the Rapper 01. So now we're going to go for the Sugar Plum Party sort of side, and this is what I really envisaged when I saw this palette. So I'm actually going to start with the Lilac as my transition. So again, we have a very shimmery transition shade here. This is actually described as a shimmer, the Lilac, whereas on this side I was using satins, but I can't honestly see an awful lot of difference. They all seem to have the same level of glow almost. So if we look here at the bronze, the satin bronze, and now look at this Lilac, I'm not seeing much difference. It's very much a shimmer eyeshadow palette in my opinion from what I'm seeing so far, which is great if you love shimmer, and I certainly do. And this is perfect for parties, isn't it? If you want to really have a very shimmery effect across the eyes. I'll go into the darker one here with the Rapper 15 Mini, and this is using the other shimmer, which is the pink rather than the lilac. So I don't know if this will give me a bit more depth. Let's just see. It looks a little bit deeper than the lilac. Yeah, I think you can just about see this sort of difference there. I'm taking this underneath as well. I'm taking my Rapper number 2. I'm going to go into this one, which is a satin, I think. Yeah, satin silver. I'm going to pop this over the whole of the lid. I love mixing pinks and silvers. I think they are just the most beautiful combination. And you can see here I'm getting pretty much the same impact using the O2 as I was with my finger. So if you don't like using your fingers to make shimmers pop, then this is not a shimmer, it's a satin, but wow, does it look like one. Like I said, I'm just thinking there's no difference between satin and shimmers in this one for me. But isn't that beautiful with the lilac and pink? Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to try and deepen it up a little bit. I've got the Rapper 3 and I'm going to go into the plum. So this is a satin plum, and I'm just going to take a bit here. I've taken the 3 because I don't want all of my outer V to have this, because I just don't like that much depth for me. But I would like to create a little bit more. So I'm just going to sort of take it here and then build up a sort of sweeping line with that plum. So it's lifting the eye look up a bit. So it's not a really, I'm not using it as a liner or a wing at the moment. I will probably try to do that with a liner pen, but at the moment I just want a bit more sort of smoky depth there. And then back in with the number 1 brush from Rapper and the lilac shade on the brush. Just go around the edges of that plum so I don't have a sort of harsh line. I'm going to go back in with the plum now using the Rapper 23, and that's the liner brush. And like I did with the blue on this side, I'm going to use this to line underneath. You can see straight away when you use a different brush, you just pick up that much more, and it's basically giving you a different finish. So it's showing you how you can use these shades in different ways, which is excellent. So slightly bring it up for a wing, and you can see I'm just getting that much more impact using the brush than I did when I used the number 3, which is a pretty dense brush as well. But this is the liner, and it really is going to give you more of a dense finish. Sorry, it is dense and it gives you more of a pigmented finish, what I mean. And now I'm going to go with this topper shade. So this one is called Icy Blue, and this is a shimmer, but it definitely seems to be more of a topper. Now, I don't really know if I want to do much to change this silver because I really love it, but anyway, I want to see how that looks over the silver in the middle, and you can see it's really giving, definitely you can see a bit of that icy blue, you know, which is fantastic because I love icy blue. So you can still see the silver here, and it's just slightly changed with the icy blue, but I think what I might try is the icy blue actually in the inner corner, see if it works. So using the wrapper number 3, I'm taking that icy blue in the inner corner. It's giving more of a sort of purple vibe. I'll give you an idea what this shade looks like on its own. So I'm going to take it under the brow as well. Definitely, I've got way too much shimmer on the outside of my eye, I'm seeing now as I'm doing that. Gosh, that is lovely, lovely underneath the brow, isn't it? I think when I use the lilac shimmer to diffuse the purple there, because it's so shimmery, I've just got sort of shimmery powder there, so it's really not very good for that. I think you do need a light matte. I think that's one thing this could do with, is just one light matte. A light lilac would have been nice in a matte, but anyway. I love that, you know, I absolutely love it. I'm actually going to put a bit more here and bring it over to the plum rather than making it just in the middle. So we've got that transition of the icy blue with the plum, and then you've got the grey silver. So there are both the looks, the more everyday with a little splash of lilac, and the more full-on sugar plum fairy vibe, which I absolutely love actually. I'm not putting on mascara yet, as I said, because I will be adding a pop of highlight from the face palette. So let's move on to the face palette next. Before I do anything, here is my swatch video for you. So here is 006 Celestial Glow. Isn't it beautiful? This is £43. Now I'll just do a couple of comparisons for you. So here it is compared with 001 Universal here. So I've got swatch comparisons here, but I can tell you straight away that the pink in 001 is definitely showing up as more of a bright pink. I think this new one here, Celestial Glow, is definitely more sort of fair skin shades. But this one works very well as well for fair skin. In fact, this is one of my favourite blushes in my, not blushes, highlighter or face palettes in my collection. Let me just show you them side by side. So it's very hard to even see the new ones on Celestial Glow. But here is the comparison here with 001. You can see that it's much, much more pigmented. The pink, well, I'm seeing it now in the light, the pink on the new one does seem to look quite similar. But when I swatched it, it did look more pinky. But certainly deeper shades, so much more sort of subtle, soft pigment, I think, in the new one. And here it is compared with 002 Glitz, which is the only other one I've got in my collection, which is why I'm showing it. So no similarities really at all here, but just wanted to show you them swatched side by side so you can see how they compare. So these are probably more similar in pigment, I'd say, but very different type of shades. So very hard to get them to show up, isn't it? But hopefully that gives you an idea, the sort of difference. So the shade I wanted to complete my look here with was this one, because this is an icy blue, and we've already got that icy blue in the eyeshadow palette. So actually I'm going to swatch them side by side so we can see if they're at all similar. So this is the icy blue from the eyeshadow palette, and this is the icy blue in the face palette. So they are pretty much the same, aren't they? Which again sort of shows that you could use the eyeshadow palette as your highlight, so you don't really need both if that's the sort of shade you're looking for, especially if you're trying to match that sugar plum fairy sort of look. So you could probably go with the icy blue as your very very much matching Sugar Plum shades, which is probably what I'll try this side with the face palette shade anyway. But for now, I'm going to try the Icy Blue highlighter. There's a pop of light here, so we can see how it looks. In fact, I might top the entire lilac. So I'm using it as a topper shade. So that is how that is looking. I don't think on the eyes it's showing up quite as much, but obviously on this side I was putting it on top of the deeper pink and the plum. Yeah, I think maybe the eyeshadow one has got a bit more oomph. So yeah, the topper in the eyeshadow palette's got a bit more impact, hasn't it? A bit more high shine really than the highlight. Just if you're interested, because maybe you're happy to just put a bit of bronzer in the crease and maybe just get the face palette, and you could then use this face palette to do your eyes and face. I think it would work very well actually. This one in the inner corner, this one all over the lid, or put these two together or these two together. A few things you could try there. So really up to you, but I'm not sure if needing both, well, what do you think? Please let me know. Would you like both, or do you think you can probably get the same job done with one? But I do love these. I think they are probably the nicest formula. These are actually Italian, not French, the formula. And these are beautiful. I love them. I always keep one of them on my desk, one of the two I've shown you. So maybe I'll try putting this one in my desk for the rest of the winter now, because this is perfect, isn't it, for the sort of winter shades. So I've added some mascara, and I just used a little bit of concealer to clean up where I had too much shimmer coming down there. Anyway, so there's the final look again with mascara. Particularly love this one, really do. But anyway, let's get on with this face palette. So this can be used, this is described as a face palette, but it is essentially a highlighter palette. But I haven't got any blush on today, so I'm going to try these two as blushes. So I'm going to try, well actually, I was thinking of something else to try today. Let me think what I'm going to do. I will try the pink and the peach together as a sort of blush shade. This is going to be quite strange, but I'm going to try it on this side, and I'll explain why in a minute. You can see it is definitely for me a blush topper because of the shine. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous colour actually. I'll try the sort of peachy one. It's called Coral, Strobe Coral. Whereas the Rose, which is the shade, is actually described as a blush, but it's not a blush, is it? It is a shimmer. The Coral is described as Strobe Coral. I'm using my Refa blush brush. So you can just see I'm getting a bit more warmth, but it's emphasising every single line in my face. So I wouldn't use this as a blush personally. And the reason I've put these two sort of deeper shades together here is because I want to try an actual blush with these used over the top on the other side, the more sort of perfected side in my opinion, which is the real celestial purple party vibe that I want to really have, which I would have gone for with a full face. There's no way my eyes would have tolerated that today, me washing off and doing it twice. So there we go, you can sort of see a bit of a sort of blush on my cheek there, can't you? From that sort of coral. And then the pink at there, but it is very, very, very shiny. Pretty though, I do like it. I'm actually thinking with the coral it's nicer. I like that. So next I will take the Icy Blue. Now this is the one, personally, I wasn't too sure about as a highlight. Whoa. I am really shining from the heavens now, aren't I? You can see the sort of purple, it says shiny blue, but you can see the purple sort of picking up in that, more of the sort of sugar plum vibes, which go very nicely on this side. And I'm going to show you, I know this is probably not the best demonstration, but I'm trying to get everything on my face to show you. So I'm showing you this one, which you can see straight away. This is the most glittery and shimmery from the entire palette. This would be a really good one for under the eyes and inner corner, but a bit too much on the cheek, look. So I do think all three work better on the cheek, certainly if you've got mature skin, but this one, which is described as the glitter white, and it really is a glitter white, you can see that. So if you want a glitter finish, it's absolutely giving you that. But for me, that was something I would much prefer on the eyes. So I've already got such a, or do you know what, I'll still try it. Let's just give it a go. Because I'm really happy with the way my eyes are looking. But as soon as I've played around so much on this side, let's just take a little bit and add that under the brow to see if it gives even more of a pop of glitter. Not really, actually, because I do think the number 1 shade here in the eyeshadow palette, that's already got a lot of impact, a lot of shine. But this is definitely a shade that works very nicely for the inner corner. So it's not a dead shade for me by any means. And if you did want to have that glitter finish on the cheek for a party, maybe Christmas, New Year sort of look, you could use it for that. So that's giving you an idea of all the shades. But now I wanted to show you what I would personally like to do with this. So I'm going to use the new Dior blush, which launched just, I think, 2 weeks ago it was, or yeah, 2 weeks ago. This is Triomphe Satin 388. And I'm going in with a dense brush because this is like extremely light blush, if you haven't already seen me putting this one on. So this is going to give me a matte, slightly glowy, actually, not fully matte. This is slightly glowy, but a very, very light coverage, as you can see. And I have to really swirl around to get this one to show up. But once it does, it's a beautiful, beautiful pink. I really do like this one a lot. So we've gone for the real icy, cooler tones on this side. So I think this is why this is the look I would much prefer. So you can see that pink pop coming through now. Very, very cool tone pink. I love it. See, it's giving me quite a glow. So I am still going for maximum glow by combining these. But what I wanted to do was take this pink and use it as a topper. So I'm going to glow a lot doing this, but that's the way I would personally like to use it. So this one is described as a blush, and obviously you saw there on the upper part of my cheek I used it as a blush. But now I'm just tapping it over this pink to give it maximum glow. So can you see how that just completely matches now with this eye look? And it's turned that into a very glowy pink. Now this is very much a party look, not a daytime look, as I keep saying, but that's the way I would personally prefer to do it, with a pink powder blush underneath and then top it with that pink highlighter. I mean, it is quite intense, isn't it? I think I would have to go in and fix this with some sort of finishing powder, because even for a party that's too much. So I've got my Hourglass Dragon palette here, so I'll go into the lightest of the finishing powders. I've been using this palette non-stop since getting it. So now, using my Buffer Pro from Sonia G, I'm just going to go over everything I've done and just buff around and calm it down a little bit. So I put more on than I would like, really, to demonstrate, but it shows how when you go in with these finishing powders you can really calm things down quite a lot. What I don't think I can calm down is that glitter there. That is going to be there all day, and under the brow. Very, very impactful. But this really is perfect for holiday, isn't it? Perfect, because you can get such a good glittery party look, which is what we want. Well, certainly what I want. So there we are. That's the way I would like it to finish. That's pretty much now exactly how I like it. I love this side. I love the way this is matching up the eye. It's sort of all coming around and meeting together there. That is beautiful. So that is the look I would like all over. But as a more everyday, minus the glitter, I think this side also works very well if you think of no glitter there and maybe just using that peach coral highlighter as your blush, and a glowy blush basically. I think that would look really nicely and meet sort of nicely with the bronze. So that's what I would do. I would use the peachy one, which is called, I keep forgetting, Strobe Coral. Use that with the eyeshadow, the bronze eyeshadow from the Celestial Purple palette. So you've got your everyday going to work sort of colours here, and don't put any more highlighter on if you don't want to glow. And then obviously you can create something like this using the purples, the silvers, and here I've used my pink highlighter. as that topper shade. I could go in with more, but I just don't see the point. Maybe today, just because I'm going to look super strange, what I will do is put a little bit of that glitter here so that I look as glittery on both sides. So what do you think of those? I absolutely love them actually, and I love the way that this has got almost a sort of summery finish with that coral. So I think that the highlighter palette is actually very versatile because you've got that sort of purpley finish for the party Christmas vibe, and then when you're moving into spring summer you can also use the coral, so you can create more of a summery look on, like I've done on this side. So if you've got these two together, I think you'd be set for pretty much the whole year, because you can create so many different looks. You can create a very sort of spring look using just the lilac, say, as a one and done in the eyeshadow, and then you could have just a little bit of, maybe for summer, the coral on the cheeks as a glowy blush, and maybe leave it at that, or just use that underneath the brow in the inner corner, or you can use this shade for doing exactly that. And then moving into the sort of party season, if you again, you can just use these for every day going to work, and you've got your liner shades here, you've got your inner corner, but then you can go for the party sugar plum fairy look like I've done here. So I do think that combined, these two are actually a beautiful combination with lots and lots of potential looks, and they're very reasonable prices for Dior. So if you've skipped some of the Dior releases and you like these sorts of shades, and you also like to have a slightly warm neutral look as well as these purple looks, then I think you're going to love having both of these actually. I really do love them, I really, really do. Anyway, let's finish with the lip maximizer from Dior. So this is the Dior Addict Lip Maximizer. It looks beautiful here. I'll just show you it swatched. So this is shade 32 Celestial Purple, and going from the swatch, this is just going to give me a shimmer. You're not going to see any colour. So this could be a nice topper on top of lipstick, but I wanted to show you how it looks just completely on its own. So when you look at it in the actual packaging, you can see that purple. It's very hard to see it on the lips. I think it just very, very slightly catches that the shimmer in this is slightly purpley. But really, I think it's just given me a very shiny lip, a slightly plumped lip, a shiny lip, and this for me is 100% a topper shade, because with this sort of dramatic look anyway, I would definitely want a bit more colour. So I think I'll take it off and try it with colour. So I've just gone in with the Pat McGrath Belle Amour Dramatique, I think they're called, is that right? Yeah, the Dramatique Mega Lip in Belle Amour. So I think that sort of goes with this eye look anyway. And now I'll put the topper on. So now taking the Celestial Purple across the lip, that's how I would use it. So I don't really think you're seeing any purple, whether it's on top of lipstick or if it's on its own. But what you are seeing is a lovely topper shade, giving you that sparkle to finish off your sparkly look. So there we have it. That is all of the new products from Dior. So we've got this side, the Party Sugar Plum side, and then we've got the more neutral, slightly summery, I'd say, side. I love everything I've tried on today, and I love the versatility and the ease of application. So I would love to hear what you think about these. Will you be picking them up? If you're a fan of lilacs and purples, I'm sure you're very drawn to these sorts of colours. I do think this is probably my favourite sort of holiday eye I've so far created from the new releases, but there's so many more to come. But yeah, I'm absolutely in love with this one, I really am. So it's a winner for me, and the highlight palette, the face palette, will definitely be going on my desk, and I'll be using that all the time as I have done with the others. So it's a really good one to add, and it's worth noting as well, these don't say limited edition at the moment, but they very often are, or they just never come back. So I would probably pick one of these up or both of these up if they're on your wish list. They very rarely have them reduced. So waiting for a sale might never happen, and when I say very rarely, I don't do ever reduced there. You might pick them up elsewhere, but they often tend to sell out. So if these are on your wish list, I would grab them if I were you. But anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Are you getting them? Have you already got them? And what do you think about everything I tried on today? And I hope you found this helpful in possibly making your decisions. If you've enjoyed this, then please do like and subscribe. It's so very helpful to my channel. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so very much, honestly. Really appreciate you all very, very much. And I hope to see every single one of you for my next video. Take care, everybody. Bye.